Yeah, a number of years ago, I realized that although the 4-quadrant instruments do provide just a lot of very, very good information, wonderful information, and to know yourself, to know people around you for decision making, communication, and so on, I realized that I need to get closer to the human being. And to get closer to the human being, I revisited the 4-quadrant instruments. And to put it simply, I started to dissect the quadrants. Went back to 10 years of research, looked at all the feedback we got from different people, adults and children, on the 4 quadrants. And then it became very clear and apparent to me that in every quadrant, there are 2 processes at work. And then another step, following step, I started to develop instruments to separate those 2 dimensions within every quadrant. And this has given us immense joy, because it does get you so much closer to that insight, so much closer to the essence of the human being. So let me just give you a brief kind of overview. The L1 quadrant, I split into the analyst and the realist. So you could be strong, you could have a score of above 80 in the L1, but then in that high score, you could be a realist or an analyst, or combination of the 2, of course. The realist is someone that likes to work with simplicity, is a focused person, likes to set goals, so it's very much specific facts and information. The analyst is the more research kind of person, the one that likes to dig deeper, to find out, to probe, to open up. So in any kind of organization, you would probably need both those processes. In the L2 quadrant, the split was between the stalwart, the preserver in a certain kind of way, and the organizer. Preserver is the one that likes traditions, likes to be cautious, in a sense protects what worked in the past, likes experience. Again, a very, very important component of any organization. And the organizer is the one that puts the information, the facts, in a certain order. It's the planner. It's the systems kind of person. And again, a vital component of any organization. So sometimes you could find that one person is fine with both being a preserver, disciplined, cautious, protective, and so forth, and a very good organizer. But sometimes you need 2 people to perform those 2 dimensions. And then the right brain, and it's actually here where, the R2 brain that stimulated me, that ignited in me this urge to separate the quadrants. In the R2, the people's quadrant, you could find 2 people with very strong scores, high scores, and they could be completely different. And that was confusing to many people. And the split clearly showed why. You have an empathizer, which is the one-on-one kind of person, the caring kind of person, likes to be with people, but in a small group, as I said, or one-on-one. And then the socializer likes to work in teams, likes to inspire groups of people. So it's the big group person, large group person, versus the intimate individual kind of person. And that's a very important split, because in organizations there are often just two kinds of people. You don't find the same person fine or okay in both. And then the R1, again, it's a very important split. The R1, the sort of unorthodox quadrant of the brain. Here you have the Imagineer, the one that likes to play around with weird ideas, imagines, fantasizes, doodles, comes up with strange angles to a solution, and of course vital in any organization. They are often the people that they break the paradigm. They kind of come out the box and they look at the world with different kind of eyes. So very, very critical to have them in your organization. And then the strategist. And there often you find your top management, senior management, because they got to see the future. They got to plan the future. They got to kind of see trends in the markets and so on. Those are the strategists. So I truly believe that for any organization or school, for that matter, or team, to be successful in a modern era, you've got to be adimensional. You've got to cover all those bases. And even if you're not okay in all those dimensions, that's fine, that's okay. But then just make sure that you have a team, that if you bring your team together, that they can cover all the angles and all the dimensions of this 8-dimension instrument.